If you don't at least drive one of these new Passports before you buy the new Land Cruiser, you're just a brain-dead Toyota cultist. I'll include a link to the Honda and Murray's website in the description down below. They're providing us with this Passport. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood is a 3.5 liter V6. It goes through a 10 speed. Fuel economy is 19 around town, 25 on the highway, with power outputs being 285 horsepower and then 262 pound-feet of torque. We're closing in on 500,000 subscribers. I'd really appreciate it if you'd help out with that. Now the hood scoop is fake. That's kind of dorky, but I don't mind. And also this color looks great. Very boxy headlight design. I like how the Honda badge is blacked out. It has Passport stamped into the front, which is kind of dorky, but also works. No fog lights with this package, but you do have parking sensors. Altogether, finished in this color, this is a good looking car. Tire and wheel setup is 265 by 60 by 18. This one has the HPD wheels, which I think contrast very nicely to the gray on this car. Elements like the mirror caps and the door handles are kind of darker in coloration. It's just exposed plastic, but it works. And then here's your side profile. You can see the fender flares and everything, pretty chunky looking. When it comes to key fob features, we've got the Honda logo there on the back. On the front face, we have our lock and unlock, remote start, and the opening for the hatch. We've got a 12 volt in the back, and the Passport is a 2-row, unlike the Pilot sibling, which means we've got a crazy amount of space here on the back. And there's also more space underneath the floor. You just kind of have to pick that up a little bit. It also includes the spare tire. So the practicality, especially when you compare this to the Land Cruiser, so good. Look at the taillights here. I like how that kind of pops down a little bit, and then Passport again stamped into the back. And that will cap things off for the exterior of this Passport. This week's giveaway highlight is perfect for Mustang enthusiasts. The first car is a 60th anniversary GT convertible. You can't make a better date night car than that. The next car is a 1966 K-Code Mustang. It's got a V8, it's got a 4-speed manual, perfect for enthusiasts. And this is what you think of when you think of the word Mustang. Now, not only are the 2 Mustangs part of this giveaway, but also $34,000 in cash to help pay for the taxes, and your donations go towards helping children's and veterans charities. So use code BHC or click the link in the description down below or in the pinned comment. This will give you 4x bonus entries with any donation, $25 or more. Let's check out the interior. Got nice soft touch here on the armrest. And then look at the seats. Got the little strip there in the center, and I like the coloration, kind of a cool contrast. So much legroom here in the back, and comfortable in terms of like the height of the floor, so my knees are in a nice position. Also have a storage pocket there. We got vents in the rear, USB ports as well, and then tons of room with the boxy design. Keyless entry for up front. Let's check it out. Blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. We also have memory seats with this. All of your window controls, mirror adjustments, and then more of that soft touch. More of that nice trim here at the front seats. Power adjustable with lumbar support, by the way. The passenger seat's just power adjustable. Soft touch all around the steering wheel, paddles on the back, practical controls on the front face for like the adaptive cruise control, lane centering, volume and voice command controls, just regular stocks there on the back too. Fancy pants digital gauge cluster, which means you can change the information that's displayed in the center cluster, and it'll also show you all the drive modes. And you'll note that this has a bunch of different drive modes to customize the all-wheel drive system and engine and everything. Just a backup camera in reverse. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, you've got this little shortcut bar here on the side. And sorry about the lighting there, kind of a darker screen, but in terms of like real life POV, it's pretty easy to see. But yeah, the response time's great. As Apple CarPlay and Android Auto too. They still give you physical controls for the climate, tri-zone climate with heated seats. Got some USB ports, 12 volts, and then we have a wireless phone charging pad. We've got a bunch of buttons there, some cup holders, and then behind that, you got your drive mode select. And then also the hill descent control, auto stop start, it does have that. Parking brake with brake hold, big center console. Got soft touch here on the top. A little bit of storage above the glove box. Just a regular rearview mirror, and then no sunroof with this particular one. 2026 RTL S, and then this one has the HPD package, $47,900. Let's see how this performs. Let's set off in the Passport RTL. Now, no double pane windows, just regular glass with this, for those of you that are wondering. I actually talked to one of the people at, I can't remember which Honda dealer it was, but it doesn't matter. I asked him about lifting these because, you know, I remember that I saw quite a few Ridgelines that were lifted back in the, and you guys know I've reviewed them. So I'm like, why is nobody lifting these? Apparently it's expensive. That's what I was told. So, yeah. Apparently it's expensive. But I still think someone should try. Now the V6 is smooth. You got a NA V6, 10-speed automatic. It's like the dictionary definition of smooth power delivery. Now it does have auto stop start, which I think is a little bit of a downside, right? But it's not the end of the world. Yeah, it's so nice. Again, you don't need like a crazy amount. I mean, it's still got almost 300 horsepower, but you still don't need a crazy amount of power when you've got smooth delivery like this. It really does work quite well. It's pretty comfortable over the bumps and everything. And here's the deal, if like you're not going to take your Passport off-road, this is kind of the package to get, because you know, getting the Trail Sport version, it's really cool, but you're paying more money for equipment you're not going to use if you don't take it off-road. And this also applies to the Land Cruiser. The things that the Land Cruiser has that are better than this are all associated with off-roading, right? 2-speed transfer case, body on frame construction, the rear locker that it has. This has a fancy all-wheel drive system that can kind of mimic a lot of the stuff that the Land Cruiser has. It's kind of like Toyota's MTS in a way, right? But I think you guys get the point that I'm making is a lot of the stuff that the Trail Sport has, and then definitely the stuff that the Land Cruiser has that a lot of people are comparing to this, and then, you know, the 4Runner too, the benefits are with off-roading. So if you don't take your car off-road, it makes no sense to pay the extra money for the Trail Sport or for a 4Runner or for a Land Cruiser if you're not going to take the car off-road. You're paying more money for what I would say gives you an objectively a worse driving experience on road for something you're getting zero utility out of, you know? So this thing drives well. It's comfortable. It's good over the bumps. And again, being unibody, right, it handles well. It's easy to get in and out of. And this, with a V6 in the real world, is going to get better fuel economy than a Land Cruiser with that turbo hybrid 4-cylinder. And I think a lot of people are kind of waking up to that fact. And I do think that, you know, automakers like Honda making these boxy unibody off-roaders, I think it makes all the sense in the world, because people want the space, they want the looks, and they like the idea of the utility, but, you know, realistically, people want something that drives more car-like and has car-like space. One of the biggest benefits of unibody is not just the handling that it provides, but the space that you get inside. Because it's unibody, you have so much more room to work with versus body on frame, right? You've got the cab on top, and so it's like, well, since the construction is not integrated, since it's separated, the cab only has so much space available to it, unless you want to make the vehicle super tall like a G-Wagon, and then talk about bad handling and top heavy and all that kind of stuff. So look at one of these before you buy any of the new Toyota SUVs, any of them. I don't care what it is. Take a look at one of these new Honda Passports. I think that you will be impressed with how it drives, the comfort, and again, the money that you could potentially save. Because if you're looking at a Land Cruiser, well, a Land Cruiser starts out at like, I mean, the cheapest ones I see at dealers now are like 60 grand. So if this ends up working for what you're looking for, you just saved yourself at minimum $13,000 and maybe even $20,000 depending on the Land Cruiser spec you're looking at. Like, that's a lot of money. Let me know your thoughts.